What if caring less could lead to a better, happier life? Let me ask you, what's something you care way too much about that's stressing you out? Drop your answer in the comments below, and let's see if The Subtle Art of Not Giving a by Mark Manson has the answer to your stress. Today we're diving into a book that tells you to stop chasing, start choosing, and focus on what matters. Welcome to Quick Reads Club. Chapter 1. Don't Try. Mark Manson starts the book with a story that sets the tone. A man named Charles Bukowski, who found success by embracing his flaws, not by trying to overcome them. His message? You don't have to constantly strive for perfection. The key is to figure out what you truly care about and let the rest go. Stop wasting your time on things that don't matter. So, the first lesson? Don't try to be everything to everyone. Decide what's truly important and let go of the rest. Simple, right? But powerful. In Chapter 2, Manson drops a bombshell. Life is full of problems, and that's normal. The constant pursuit of happiness can make us more unhappy. Why? Because when you're obsessed with avoiding problems, you miss the point. Real happiness comes from solving problems that matter. Instead of running from discomfort, embrace it. It's part of the process of growth. Happiness isn't about avoiding struggles. It's about solving the right problems, and that's something we all need to hear more often. Chapter 3, You Are Not Special. Manson takes a direct shot at entitlement in this chapter. We're often told that we're all special, destined for greatness. But Manson flips that idea on its head. Most of us are ordinary, and that's perfectly fine. The belief that we deserve special treatment or success without effort is toxic. Instead, we should focus on hard work, growth, and embracing our averageness. The truth? Being average is okay. It's the effort we put into the things that matter that makes us extraordinary. Chapter 4. The Value of Suffering. What are you suffering for? That's the key question in Chapter 4. Manson argues that our values determine the quality of our lives, and many of us are chasing the wrong ones. Chasing fame, money, or approval from others will never lead to lasting happiness. The solution? Choose better values. Focus on honesty, responsibility, and personal growth. These are the values that lead to fulfillment. It's not about avoiding suffering, making sure you're suffering for the right reasons. Chapter 5. You Are Always Choosing. Life is about choices, even when things feel out of your control. Manson's point is that we always have the power to choose how we respond to challenges. Taking responsibility for your choices, instead of blaming others, is how you regain control. It's not about what happens to you, but how you react. Taking responsibility isn't about fault. It's about ownership over your choices, actions, and life. Chapter 6. You're Wrong About Everything. In Chapter 6, Manson pushes us to rethink our certainties. The idea that we're always right holds us back from growth. We need to embrace the fact that we can be wrong. Being open to change, learning from mistakes, and questioning our beliefs is how we grow. This chapter is all about embracing intellectual humility. The key to growth? Admit that you're wrong and be willing to change. Chapter 7. Failure is the way forward. Failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. In this chapter, Manson explains that the fear of failure often stops us from trying new things or taking risks. But failure is the foundation of success. It's through making mistakes that we learn, improve, and grow. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from learning from it. Chapter 8. The Importance of Saying No. This chapter is all about setting boundaries. Manson emphasizes that we can't do everything and we shouldn't try. Learning to say no to things that don't align with your values is essential. Saying no gives you the space to focus on what truly matters instead of spreading yourself too thin. Saying no isn't about being negative. It's about protecting your time and energy for what matters. Manson wraps things up by bringing it back to the ultimate reality, death. He argues that facing the reality of our mortality can bring clarity to how we live our lives. When you recognize that life is finite, it becomes easier to let go of trivial concerns and focus on what truly matters. When you realize that time is limited, everything becomes clearer. What are you giving a fuck about? So what's the big takeaway from the subtle art of not giving a fuck? It's not about being indifferent or careless, it's about choosing what matters. When you stop caring about the things that don't serve you and start focusing on what really counts, life gets a lot simpler. So here's my final question for you. What will you choose to give a fuck about? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.